1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4.
And I was interested in the story about President Harry Truman when he came to New Bern in November of 1948. It was the 100th anniversary of the First Baptist Church, and the President came here on Sunday to attend the 11 o'clock services. He flew into Cherry Point at 10:15, attended the service at 11, and then went back to Cherry Point, flew out and went to Key West on vacation. It was certainly a quick visit. Now, when the President was coming, it was quite a to-do here in New Bern. Everybody was so excited that eventually they had to give out invitations to the church service, or else the church would have overflowed. Well, eventually, the Presbyterians got a little bit envious of the fact that the First Baptist Church was getting so much press. Well, rumor has it that the Sunday before the President came, the Presbyterians printed a huge full-page ad in the paper saying, "Though the President will be at the First Baptist Church next Sunday, God will be at the Presbyterian Church." I think that may be just a rumor, though I'll bet Presbyterians may have said that.
Hello. The Sudan Shriners is an organization founded in 1916. They are a charity that helps to build children's hospitals, but they also know how to have fun.
He was 19 years old, and he played this stage twice. He played in May, and then he came back 2 months later in July. And when he came back 2 months later, he was a little more well-known. But we've actually had members that are probably in their early 90s now that have told us that it cost $2 to come see him that night, and that he moved and danced and gyrated so much that they just couldn't stand it and they left.
Right after we moved to New Bern, I was in 4th grade, and I was on my way to school one morning, and I was taking the bus, and all of a sudden this cow ran across the road right in front of us. White cow running as fast as it could across the road, followed quickly by 3 New Bern locals on horseback chasing this cow with the help of police, but the police were in cars, and so they were chasing this cow, and we had no idea what was going on. School bus just kept going, we didn't know anything, and it turns out that the cow ran into my neighborhood. It had escaped from a nearby pasture, and it ran into my neighborhood, and they ended up shooting it in my backyard. And so, of course, my mother calls my dad at work to tell him what's going on, and she calls him up and she's frantic and she says, "Oh my goodness, there's a dead body in the backyard." And so, he's ready to pack up and leave work that instant. He's horrified at the idea of having a dead body in the backyard, and it took him about 5 minutes to find out that it was a cow. And luckily they got everything cleaned up before I got home, but it was one of those things you never would have expected it to happen anywhere, but having just moved to New Bern from Indianapolis, I definitely wasn't expecting it.
The Great Fire of New Bern happened on December 1st, 1922, destroying 1,000 buildings and leaving 1/4 of all citizens homeless.
My mother was an 8-year-old when the fire happened. Now, she had been in New York with her aunt, and they came home, she said, in an oral rendition of what she remembered. And she said, "Where's our house? Can't find our house." The wind, the people was driving the force of the fire. And they're saying that the fire, even after they dynamited the houses on George Street, thinking that if they stopped it there, the cemetery would stop the rest of it, but balls of fire flew over and caught the oak trees in the cemetery, and they started burning too. It's just, I mean, it's just when you hear the old folks talk about it, it just really scares you.
New Bern will never forget the Great Fire of 1922.
If my wife lived here in 20 years, she would be pleased. Right now, she's a little bit unhappy that we don't have enough shopping for her, and I keep telling her, be patient, it's coming, it's coming. So in 20 years, she should live and be well. She will have a lot of places to shop in New Bern.